G'day Gooners and welcome back to the post-match pod with me, George. Obviously, Cal is still away on holiday, so it's just me today. We'll briefly touch on our 3-2 win against Kairat in the Champions League. Obviously, really good result. Performance was good in parts. One of those situations which we have come quite accustomed to with Arsenal of having all the ball, creating many chances, not taking those chances, and now the game looks like it was really close because of the result. But no, really, I guess quite a decent performance in the end, which means for our Champions League run, we are now 8 wins in 8. The league phase is now over. We've come top of the group, which is fantastic, and it just means that we do get the home leg for the second leg in each of our knockout stages, which could be really important, which is brilliant. Gonna break down the Leeds performance. Obviously, going to Elland Road is never an easy place to go. Leeds as well being one of the informed teams in the Premier League at the moment. I'm pretty sure they've, before today, they'd only lost 1 in 11. So, very difficult place to go. And that loss was away at Newcastle. They lost 4-3 and they conceded it in the 90th minute, I think it was. 102nd minute to lose the game. So quite a dramatic, I think it was a Harvey Barnes winner. Correct me if I'm wrong. So to go there, beat them at their own place and beat them in the convincing way that we did. The score on the day was 4-0. I was going to say 4-3, but no, it was 4-0. Very convincing performance. Exactly the response that we needed after obviously our performance at the Emirates against United. Really pleased. I mean, there's definitely a lot to break down in terms of the lineup and the performance in general. Obviously, the lineup on the day was David Raya, Urian Timber, Saliba Gabriel, Hincapié, Rice Zubimendi, and Kai Havertz, with Madueke, Gyökeres, and Trossard. Now, obviously, it wasn't supposed to be that lineup because obviously Saka was supposed to play on that right-hand side, but he got injured in the warm-up. We, at the moment, don't know the severity of that injury, hoping that it's not a bad one. But I guess from what Arteta said, they made the decision very quickly, is what he said. So I'm guessing it's probably more precaution. So anyway, I guess it's not going to be a terrible injury. But we had to play on anyway. And Madueke came in on that right hand side, and I thought he did very well. First 20 minutes of the game, it was quite back and forth. It was a bit of a basketball game, to be honest with you. No team really wanting to take control of the game, especially on the floor. Like, it wasn't really a game where, especially in the first 20 minutes, where the midfielders really had a lot of the ball. Like, a lot of it was played long. I guess the tactical difference that we'd seen in this game compared to others was we were playing a 4-4-2, essentially. Kai was partnering Gyökeres up top, and so I guess when David Raya got the ball, he felt he could play that long ball into one of them, and the other one would feed off the scraps, I guess. And it was working. It really was working. I guess maybe it was another way to combat Leeds' press. I mean, we know that they've been very good pressers in the last, 3 or 4 months. So that was just, I guess, tactically a difference in the way that Mikel Arteta really wanted to play this game. But after the first 20 minutes, I thought we did settle down pretty well. Got our foot on the ball, and we did start to play a little bit more in their half. Very interesting the way that we set up, to be honest with you. Obviously, it was a 4-4-2, but I guess a slight difference from what we'd seen for most of this season was the way that we used Declan Rice and Zubimendi. Zubimendi usually being our number 6, being the guy who definitely receives the ball in the first phase of build-up from our 2 centre-backs. But today it was different. Today it was Declan Rice playing much deeper. We saw Zubimendi play more in the pockets as a number 8. And I thought he had a really good game, to be honest with you. I thought he definitely bounced back from the Man United game really, really well. Obviously, he was the one who made the mistake for their first goal. It was really interesting. I think what I like about Zubimendi is he reads the game so well. He knows exactly what the game needs of him. Does he need to play off one touch or two touch? Does he need to make a third man run? Does he need to spin the ball around the corner? He's very, very smart, very intuitive. He really understands the game state as well. So I thought he did really, really well in that number 8 position. And I think it could be something that we see much more of, especially if we are going to play with Kai and Gyökeres up top together. Because we don't have a natural, I guess, ball threader, someone who can just play the ball through into a forward like that. Thread of the needle type pass, the one that we've been so accustomed to with an Eze or a Martin Odegaard as well. So I thought he did really, really well. And obviously after 28 minutes, he was on the receiving end of a beautiful cross from Noni Madueke. And more on Noni, I guess. It's really, really difficult. I'm not sure for all our viewers out there how much football you guys have all played, but for someone coming off the bench, not just, I guess, after 60 minutes, but having gone through not the emotional turmoil, like that's probably the wrong way to phrase it, but being announced that you're not going to start the game does have its toll mentally, of course. It's very, very difficult to stay strong in that moment, and when Saka is fit, he is the one who's going to start the majority of games because he just, he's a world-class footballer, but you have to be able to react to adversity in football, and it seemed like Noni really, really did. And when he got the call up after the Saka injury in the warm-up, he responded super well, and he started the game very, very well, very, very direct in what he was doing. I thought his crosses from corners were really, really good. Obviously, we'll touch on the Darlow own goal later, for that first goal. Second phase of a set piece, the ball came out to Noni, who swung the ball in with his left foot, and Zubimendi met it with a header. It's not the first time that Zubimendi has scored a header for us. I'm pretty sure he scored one at Nottingham Forest, or at the Emirates against Nottingham Forest. So really, really good finish, what a way to respond when it comes to Zubimendi and his mistake against United. So really, really good. Went 1-0 up, and that's where I sort of saw us control the game slightly more. And obviously it came from another set piece, our second goal, after 38 minutes. I was sort of watching there. It was a 2 a.m. kickoff here in Australia. It was one of those times where, a lot of the time where we have kickoffs, maybe 4:30 or 3:30, I'm awake. I'm very, very awake. This one I struggled with. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was not obviously drifting in and out of sleep, but I was very tired watching the game, so I needed a reason to stay awake. And it's probably quite similar when you're in the stadium, maybe not as dramatic as falling asleep, but you need the players to do something so that the fans can react. And it's exactly the same for those sitting at home watching the game, whatever time zone you are in. And obviously that second goal came at a great time. Again, another Noni Madueke set piece. I don't know what Carl Darlow was doing with that one. I mean, listen, really, really good delivery. Put it into a really, really dangerous area. But I don't know, maybe him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin sort of got in between each other, and just there was a little bit of chaos. Ball went in. We go 2-0 up, and we go into half-time 2-0 up, which is far more comfortable than being 1-0 up. But again, the job was not done. I thought we started the second half quite similarly to the first half. Obviously, we were in the ascendancy, I would say. We had more control of the ball, but we weren't really doing much with it. I mean, I thought actually Gyökeres had quite a good game. The ball was sticking to him, and we were playing off him, and there was many times where he sort of managed to get the ball down and then play Kai Havertz. I remember a time where Havertz then passed the ball into Zubimendi, who then shot, and I mean, it was almost like a pass back. But the ball was sticking. But after about 60 minutes, we did make a double substitution. Martin Odegaard, who obviously has come under quite a lot of criticism lately, who didn't make the starting 11 today, did come on with Gabby Martinelli, with Kai Havertz and Noni Madueke making way for the two of them. And I thought that was exactly the right time for a substitution or a double substitution. We needed a bit more intensity, a bit more energy. And the game was sort of opening up, you know. So many times we can say this season that we've played against a low block. And today is not one of those times. So I think that suits a player like Martin Odegaard and a Martinelli. You know, when there's space in behind, when there's space between the lines for them to really get on the half turn. And yeah, they did exactly that. And it was just, moments later, maybe the 68th, 69th minute. Martin Odegaard receives the ball and plays a beautiful pass with the outside of his foot into the path of Martinelli, who I thought did really well, not just to keep the ball, but to shift the ball onto his left foot, which is obviously his weak foot. And then, the level of cross is just, it's outstanding. It's outstanding from Martinelli, and Victor Gyökeres did meet the cross beautifully well with a proper striker's, movement inside the box. And he got on the end of it, and the ball went straight in the back of the net, which is brilliant. We go 3-0 up after 69 minutes, and the game is almost dead and buried at that point. Leeds did not look like they were going to get back into the game, especially after the third goal went in. And I guess more on Martinelli, you know. I think he's been really, really underrated this season, to be honest with you. He's one of those players where he really does frustrate me, just as a viewer, especially when he's playing out on the left-hand side and he's super wide. I'm not a fan of him as a touchline winger. I just don't think he really influences the game as much as he should. He's very, very predictable in what he's going to do. Like I can almost tell you now exactly, if he gets the ball out on the touchline, he's going to shift the ball from left to right a few times, drop a few shoulders, go out to the byline and cross the ball in quite weakly with his left foot, and it doesn't amount to anything. And we've seen that so many times over the last couple of years when it comes to Martinelli. But when we've seen the best of Martinelli, he's always usually closer to goal. On that left-hand side, but usually more as an inside forward where he can access either that zone 14, or he can get himself really inside the 18-yard box and close to goal so he can finish. Because he's a very good finisher. We just don't get him into those areas far often enough. But I thought this cameo today was brilliant. And I think this season, you know, he's been pretty underrated. We've seen, obviously, the goal very, very late against Manchester City to equalise. That was at home. I think it was like a 96th minute equaliser. So massive goal from him, massive contribution then. He scored also a late-ish goal against Bayern Munich on the counter-attack. Space in behind, obviously Neuer came out, rushed, and he had an empty net to finish in. And yeah, his stats haven't been terrible as opposed to what we have seen of previous seasons. I know he scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup. He's scored 6 in 7 games in the Champions League this season. So obviously when the spaces are bigger, that is a scenario which really, really does suit Martinelli's game. So I feel like he has been utilised better this season than previous seasons. So really, really good to see from an Arsenal standpoint, and just having the depth out on that left-hand side. You know, if it's not working there for Trossard, we've got different options now. And I know he came on the right wing today, which I don't think is necessarily normal for Martinelli, but he can do it. And that cross, was beautiful with his left foot, which led to a Gyökeres finish. And I guess more on Victor Gyökeres, we can go into more depth. Again, a player who's been pretty heavily scrutinised by not just the media and I guess online spaces, but also a lot of Arsenal fans. I just finished watching the Newcastle versus Liverpool game, or the Liverpool versus Newcastle game, and watching Ekitike play it's everything that I want from an Arsenal striker, to be honest with you. Just the way he can link up play, the way he can turn, spin, dribble, finish, instinctively so, and head, everything. He's a top player, and that's a profile of footballer that I think we should have signed as our number 9. But needless to say, Victor Gyökeres has come in, and he's been mixed. He's been very mixed. I think the natural ability for a player like Victor Gyökeres to like control a football, the simplest tasks as a number 9, is sometimes he struggles with that, to be honest with you. But today wasn't one of those days. The ball did stick to him well. As I said earlier, he did find himself battling the centre-backs and winning that battle a lot of the time and playing the ball into Kai Havertz and linking up play a lot better. And he was running the channels and he was turning and controlling the ball. And yeah, he really deserved the goal, I thought. And it was a good Victor Gyökeres performance. He led the line well for us. And I think him having a reference point of Kai Havertz there next to him definitely helped. So that could be, I don't know, maybe something we explore more in future games. It wouldn't surprise me, especially in away games where the physical battle is almost more important than the technical battle, which I thought today definitely was that. We could see him and Havertz play together. And yeah, no, it was definitely a good performance from Victor Gyökeres, and fair play to him. He absolutely deserved the goal. So well done, Gyökeres. Then, I guess in the next 15 minutes, we did see a few more subs. I think it was 3 in total. We saw Eze come on the pitch for Trossard. We saw Jesus come on the pitch for Gyökeres. And Calafiori came on for Hincapié. And I guess a word on our fullbacks today. If there was any part of me that wanted to critique the performance, it'd probably be the fullbacks. With Hincapié, I'm just not sold on him, to be honest with you. There's not one particular part of his game which I'm like, oh, that's top class. And you can say for the other fullbacks we have in our game, in our squad, Calafiori, Timber, White, Miles Lewis-Skelly even, you can really see what their number one quality is, and you just don't really see it with Hincapié. Obviously, he's versatile. He can play at centre-back. He can play at full-back as well. But he's not very natural. And what I mean by that is when he's in wide areas, he doesn't look like a full-back. He does look like a centre-back playing as a left-back. He doesn't meet the ball with pace, and he doesn't really give me the impression that he can like drift past a man and put a cross onto one of our forwards' heads. Like he just doesn't have that natural quality. But he is a hard worker. He is a good tackler, and if we were given the option to sign him in the summer, like a loan plus option, I'm not sure what the clause is. If it's similar to what we had with David Raya at Brentford, which was like all but agreed, just wanted for financial reasons to spread it over more years and submit the bid over the next transfer window, then there's nothing we can do about it. But I actually wouldn't be rushing to sign him on a permanent deal, to be honest with you. I'd prefer us sign someone of a different profile out on that left-hand side, maybe a more natural wing-back, someone who can beat their man and cross the ball in with accuracy and with pace. But needless to say, Calafiori came on. I thought he played really, really well. He looked very rusty in our midweek game at centre-back against Kairat, but I thought he was brilliant today when he came on. He obviously only had 20-25 minutes, but yeah, everything he did was class. So it was awesome to see him back on the pitch and back fit. Moving on to Jesus and Eze as well. I thought Jesus' cameo was outstanding. And was it after 86 minutes the fourth goal came? I actually thought Jesus probably should have scored earlier on in the game. Timber had the ball out on the right-hand side and put in a beautiful cross. And he met it with his head, but he didn't manage to score, which is classic Jesus, really. It's not really a Jesus performance without a big chance missed. But after 86 minutes, he did put it right. We had, obviously, Odegaard helped us out in build-up. He helped us get out the press, which I thought was, very, very classic Martin Odegaard. And then he met the ball in the pockets. I think Calafiori found him with a right-footed pass, which is obviously not his favourite foot. But he met the ball in the pockets, in that half space, on the left-hand side, and then fed through Jesus, who span his defender really, really well, stopped and then started again, and then very instinctively placed the ball into the bottom hand corner, the bottom right corner. And it was a great finish. Really, really good goal. Something that we've missed, really. Someone who can come on at that centre forward position and really impact the game without, I guess, having loads of opportunity. He just very instinctively finished the ball. And that was game over, 4-0 and game done. Very, very professional performance from us. I guess we could talk about the other players who came on. Eze, for me, again, had a really, really good cameo. I've got a question for you guys, and the question is really, what can't Eze do off that left-hand side that Trossard can do? I think Trossard's performances of late have been pretty average. He had a really good moment today, to be fair to him, Trossard. A really, really good ball played with his right foot into the path of Victor Gyökeres, I think at 2-0, who really then should have scored. He was in on goal and just couldn't really get the ball under control. I think, was it Rodon made a really good challenge coming back. But at that stage, when he's running with that pace, he should have finished it. He should have buried it. But it was a good ball from Trossard, I guess was the point I was trying to make. But overall, Trossard has been pretty quiet over the last few weeks, which is why I think Eze needs to play off that left-hand side. I think what he can offer us, to be honest with you, is access through central areas, which he has showed many times this season against Kairat, even midweek. I thought our first goal came from him playing the ball into that centre, that zone 14, which we seem to avoid quite a lot of times. And I don't know, at Palace he was playing as more of a left forward, and I can see him replicating that role for us, to be honest with you, with Calafiori playing as a high, wide wing-back. So he can play in those half spaces alongside a Martin Odegaard in that right centre mid position, So, I loved his cameo today. I thought he was technically secure. I thought he was really strong. When players try and back into him, he just sort of spins them like they're not really there. And he just offers us something that I don't think Trossard can, to be honest. So I would love to see him get more minutes for us. And I think, to be honest with you, in our next couple of games, he will play a big part, which is brilliant. But you've got to think with Eze, like the moments he's already given us in an Arsenal shirt. Obviously, he scored the hat-trick against Spurs, which will forever have him in Arsenal folklore, which is class. The goal he scored against Palace, wasn't it? It was against Palace to win the game. We won the game 1-0. It came from an Eze goal. The assist for Martinelli against Man City in the last minute, ball over the top through to Martinelli, who dinked Donnarumma. And then obviously the assist again to Martinelli against Bayern. So like he has come up with many special moments in this season so far without actually being exposed to too many minutes or too many starts. Maybe the minutes he actually has played quite a few minutes, but he hasn't had a lot of starts. So I want to see Eze play in games which are really, really meaningful for us. I want him to play in the semi-final against Chelsea in the second leg, and I really do want him to play a bigger part in, I guess, the rest of the season. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we finish the season and Eze has been a mainstay in our team. He needs to gain the trust back of the manager, and it seems like he is slowly starting to do that. Obviously, I know the lack of trust came from the mistake against Aston Villa, letting Matty Cash go twice, one of them which led to an Aston Villa goal. So I think he was really heavily punished, and it seems like now, like someone like Martin Odegaard is being punished for his lack of performances, or his lack of top level performances, should I say, which is fair enough. I guess overall we should sum up the performance. A very, very dominant one from an Arsenal perspective. I never really thought we were going to concede. I think it's really, really important that we did actually keep a clean sheet, and that sort of leads me on to talking about the spine of our team, really. The David Rayas, the Gabriel Salibas and Declan Rices, who played in the central areas today, and I thought they were outstanding. I mean, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, being an informed striker, we should probably say, in the Premier League at the moment, did absolutely nothing. And I thought Gabriel and Saliba really marshalled him extremely well and kept him super, super quiet. I thought they were both very, very good in build-up as well. Pretty composed on the ball. I thought Declan Rice, again, was extremely good today. In build-up especially. I thought something that we've seen quite a lot of with Rice is his inability to really show for the ball in build up and really be a presence there, wanting the ball in difficult areas. And today, because he was playing in the six, he had to, and he really, really was good. He met the ball many times, playing the ball out into wide areas. We have that little routine where ball goes from David Raya to one of the centre backs, and it goes. I guess they wait until the press is sort of intense from the opposition. They play the ball into the other centre back, and then first time they play Declan Rice in, who plays the ball into the full back, and then you've sort of almost already beaten the press. But we did that really, really well. So fair play to the three of them, and I guess David Raya. All you can say about him is it's another clean sheet. Didn't have much to do, but when called on, he was always in the right positions. Not many saves to make, to be honest with you, but he was another professional performance from him and another clean sheet. So really, really good. 4-0 away at Elland Road. Really, really tough place to go, as I've said previously. They've got a good record there. I think they've only lost twice there this season. Really, really good way to answer all the criticisms and all the critiques in the media. Hearing Scholes spout absolute rubbish numerous times on that programme that he's on, talking about Tonali being better than Declan Rice, amongst, I don't know, if Arsenal don't win the league. What I've been hearing mostly is if Arsenal don't win the league, they're the worst Premier League team. Sorry, if we don't win the league, we're bottlers. Serial bottlers, obviously. But if we do win the league, we are then the worst ever Premier League winners, which is just a ridiculous comment, especially coming from Paul Scholes, who was in a Man United team in 08-09, who won the league having scored, I think it was 68 goals in the Premier League. I know the Leicester team also scored less than 70. The Arsenal team of 98 scored less than 70, amongst other teams. And it's just very, very strange that the rhetoric towards Arsenal, I find, Mourinho's Chelsea team of 2005, who kept conceded only 15 goals in the league. They were known as an incredible team to win the Premier League and amazing defensive capabilities. And it seems like Arsenal can't have that same for some reason. It might just be that they all hate Arteta. It might be that they just don't like seeing Arsenal succeed. But it seems like it's a lose-lose for Arsenal. If they win the league, they're the worst title winners ever. And if they don't win the league, then they're serial bottlers. But I guess maybe that does come with taking more responsibility of trying to be the best team in the world and in the country. So you got to take it on the chin, I guess. But I heavily disagree with a lot of the mainstream media's rhetorics towards Arsenal at the moment. I think that we're a side that obviously at the moment are finding a way to win games, and that to me is more important than not winning the game. I would rather us win every game 1-0 and it be from a corner or a set piece than us play amazing football, be breathtaking on the eye, but not win stuff. So Arsenal are trying to find a way to win at the moment, and Henry summed it up really, really well for me. He said that we've tasked Arteta with finding a way to win. In 2022-23, we played beautiful football. Obviously, after the Saliba and the Tomiyasu injury, Mr. Rob Holding, no disrespect to you, sir, but you came in and you just weren't of the same level as the other two, and we ended up not winning the league. Man City won the league. Season after that, in the second half of the season, we went in 18 games, 16 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and still didn't win the league because Man City were just that much better than us. Then, obviously, last year, we weren't as good, but we did have a lot of injuries. And this year, we found a way to cope with those injuries much better. We've still had a large number of injuries, but we are just more resilient this season. And Henry said, Arteta has been tasked with finding a way to win, and at the moment it seems like the set piece route is working, and I don't care. I actually don't care if that's the way we win. If we win, that is the most important thing to me. So we are seeing us at the moment 7 points clear. Obviously Villa and Man City still left to play this weekend. Obviously Man City's game is a big one against Spurs. Spurs are at home. We're hoping that Spurs can do us a solid and take points away from Man City. And I'm pretty sure, Spurs have quite a good record against Manchester City. Man City obviously aren't the Manchester City of old, but they're still a very, very good team. They've got the best striker in the world, the best coach in the world, and some extremely dangerous players who can cause all sorts of trouble for that Spurs team, who are, needless to say, not doing very, very well this season. It's weird though, because I actually think Spurs have quite a good squad. Like, I've got a few mates who are big Spurs fans, and just talking to them about the players that they do have available, and they should really be a lot higher up than they actually are. But again, going back to what Scholesy said about the league not being good, and this would be the worst Arsenal team to ever win it. Like, you got to look at the Champions League. Every English team through. Doesn't that say everything? Even Spurs, who are having a horrible time in the Premier League, in the Champions League are doing extremely well. So that, to me, tells me that the actual state of the Premier League is the best it's ever been. It's the top level of football. It's the best league in the world for a reason. I think what is probably true to say is those challenging us at the moment, the Liverpools, the Manchester Cities, the Man Uniteds, the Aston Villas. Well, with Aston Villa, no one expected them to be where they are, so they're probably overperforming. But I would say with the other teams, they are underperforming. They're not at the level that they have been of previous seasons. But everyone in the Premier League can beat everyone. It's the best league in the world, and I've got absolutely no doubts about that. But moving on to our next game, obviously, it's the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. We are currently 3-2 up against Chelsea, but we have the second leg to play, so it's only half-time. Second leg to be played at the Emirates Stadium in front of our own fans. We obviously have the one-goal advantage. It's going to be a tough game, Chelsea won very, very late this morning. Last minute goal, I think it was Enzo Fernandez. That game ran till, I think, over 100 odd minutes. So I'm not really sure what happened in that game. I think there might have been a red card. But yeah, Chelsea are a very, very good side. Got extremely talented players who can definitely cause us trouble. Obviously, Caicedo, I believe, was suspended for the last game, so he'll be back in that Chelsea midfield. Cole Palmer, who wasn't available for the semi-final first leg, will be available now. I'm pretty sure he's fit. But Estavao, they've got so many talented players. João Pedro. I honestly even think that they have talent on the left hand side as well. Garnacho, I think, actually is quite a good player and very dangerous, can cause trouble. Pedro Neto as well. I think on his day he can be a top level player. Obviously Reece James has been a revelation for them this season. Obviously, we all know his qualities, his world class, etc. as a right back mostly, but he's played more central this season and he's just been brilliant. And I think the main difference for Chelsea is that he's been fit this season. His injury record speaks for itself, unfortunately, for myself as an Englishman and an England fan. But I think he'll be fit and raring to go for the World Cup, hopefully. But I think he'll be our right back. But for Chelsea, he's played more central. And Chelsea under Rossini, they've done pretty well, to be fair. So I'm expecting a really tough game. Now, my lineup for this game, obviously being a Carabao Cup game, but also a semi-final, is probably going to be a semi-rotated 11. I'm going to keep Kepa in goal for that competition. I just think, he deserves the minutes. He hasn't done anything to not deserve it. At one stage of his career, the most expensive goalkeeper of all time. And actually, to be honest with you, he might still have that title. I'm trying to think of any other goalkeeper who's gone for more than 70, 75 million, and I can't really think of one at the top of my head. At right back, I'm going to go with Ben White. I just think that for these cup games, give Timber a rest, and the level of player doesn't really go down. He gives us very, very different qualities, does Ben White. The ability to overlap and underlap, making those third man runs, and just more potent in attack, I think, is what Ben White can give us. At centre-back, I'm going to go with Mosquera, and I'm going to go with Gabriel. I think we can rest Saliba in this game, but I do want to see one of our dominant centre-backs playing. Mosquera, right-footed, I want to see him play as a right centre-back this time. I know in the last game he played as a left centre-back, but I want to see him play on that right-hand side next to a Gabriel, with Calafiori back in the squad at left-back. It is probably quite tough on Miles Lewis-Skelly, who I actually think has played pretty well over the last couple of weeks when he has got minutes. But it does seem he is out of favour with Hincapié obviously getting the start this morning. But I'd go with Calafiori. Obviously, he's been injured, but he gives us a different dimension, and it will be good for match fitness. So get Calafiori in there. At 6, I'm going to go with Christian Norgard. I think that we haven't really seen enough of him, and we're all forgetting like he is and was the Brentford captain last season. I think he's only 31. He's still got plenty of minutes left in him. I'm quite frustrated at the manager really for not playing him against Inter Milan when, to be honest with you, all was done in the Champions League. Like even if we had lost both games at the end, we probably would have gone through in that first or second spot. So and that led to a pretty poor performance from Zubimendi against Man United. All of this has a domino effect. Point I'm trying to make is that I think that we need to maximise the squad that we do have, and I think Norgard is more than capable of doing a really, really good job at the Emirates Stadium against Chelsea in that number 6 position. Alongside him, I am going to go Declan Rice and Martin Ødegaard. I think for these big games, you need your big players, so I think that Declan Rice has to play really. Martin Ødegaard, I just think at home we're going to have probably more of the ball. They might even press us quite high, so those spaces, those half spaces might be available for him to pop up and receive the ball so he can do what he does best, which is create chances. On the left hand side, I'm going to go with Ebere Eze. I've talked about it numerous times on this podcast, but I think that's where he's going to be best deployed. Again, playing alongside Ødegaard, which we haven't really seen so much recently. I think he just deserves minutes. And, 1v1, I just think that where Chelsea are probably weak, it's in their defensive areas, and I think he can really cause a lot of problems there on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go with Eze on the left. On the right-hand side, sort of picks itself at the moment. Obviously, we don't know the degree of injury that Saka has, so I'm going to go with Noni Madueke against his old club. Give him the start. He's been really, really good recently. Saka hasn't really performed at his top level. So I think for this cup game, I'm going to go with Noni Madueke. The striker position, it's always the one that I find most difficult because we do just have many options. I think number one, what I will say is Mikel Merino is very, very unlucky not to make the starting 11 in the midfield. Again, hasn't really put a foot wrong, hasn't done that much to impress necessarily, but he's just a pretty steady player in that midfield, and he can also play as that number 9. But I am, for this game, going to go with Gabby Jesus. I think just on the back of his little cameo this morning against Leeds and his goal that he scored, I think he probably deserves the minutes. EFL Cup is the perfect time to give your Gyökeres a rest and to really manage Kai Havertz's minutes. Obviously, he's just got back from a very, very long-term injury. So that's the 11 I'd go for. In terms of result, it's one of those games where we don't have to win. Like, we can draw and still go through. But I do think we will win at home. I think it'll be probably quite narrow. I think it'll be a 2-1 or a 3-1. I'm going to go more confident. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win at the Emirates Stadium. We're going to find ourselves in a Carabao Cup final. And I think it's a super important competition for us to win. Obviously, it is the first competition of the year. The amount of times I've seen Manchester City teams go into the season winning the Carabao Cup nice and early in February, March time, and then go on to win the Premier League. It just builds momentum for the players, for the squad, for the coaches, for the fans even. And just having something tangible to hold and to say that you've won mid-season is super important. I think it's really, really important for the confidence of the fans in the manager and the process that we've seen going on for quite a few years now. Obviously, we haven't held proper silverware since that FA Cup in the COVID season. So, yeah, it's a perfect opportunity for us to really kick on and build some momentum. So, I really hope we do go on to win that trophy. But yeah, really, really confident for this game. Thank you to everyone who has been listening, liking, commenting and sharing. Super important for our growth. I know my editing skills are nowhere near the level of that of Cal, but I promise you all, Cal will be back soon to help out with all the clips and the short form as well as the long form. But I'm doing my best, I promise you that. Keep on coming in with your questions. I saw a question a few days ago which was, can't remember who it was from, but whoever did write that comment. Thank you very much. It was on Alexis Sanchez, and if we actually had Alexis Sanchez to this day playing on our left-hand side, how threatening would we be? Would we be the favourites for every competition? And I think the second part of that question was, which signing could we make that could make the same difference as an Alexis Sanchez? And two really, really good questions. I think the first part is an easy yes from me. I think he is the difference maker, He is the one that needs one chance and sticks the ball in the back of the net. He is the guy who, when things aren't going well for a team, can really do something ridiculous by himself and stick the ball in the top corner. And that is something that we do miss. Obviously, the closest that we have to that is probably Saka and Eze, with the occasional Trossard cameo with those two as well. But I think we need one more. And it's a good question in terms of who I think that player could be. I thought it was Semenyo. I thought Semenyo was that guy. But obviously he's gone to City. So I don't know, maybe a Yildiz from Juventus. He looks very promising. Maybe a Bradley Barcola, although in terms of his finishing ability, he's very inconsistent, but the ability to dribble, to create chances by himself is definitely there. He just needs a bit of polishing. Maybe a Rafael Leao on that left-hand side. All names that I think could really be dangerous. And to be honest with you, I actually don't think it's going to come from a left winger. As I said, I see Eze playing on that left wing. To me, it's going to be a centre forward. I think in the summer, Jesus will go. And to me, the only option that we should be trying to go and get is Julian Alvarez. I think he is the complete package. I think he has those moments. He scores free kicks. He scores long shots, puts the ball in the top corner. I mean, even against us in the Champions League, he hit the bar from a shot outside the box. He's a great finisher, a great presser. I think he's the complete centre forward. And I think he is probably the profile that Arteta and Berta most want. I've seen obviously links already this season to him, and it looks like Atletico are going to get Ademola Lookman, who I think would be a great signing, to be fair. But that to me tells me that Julian Alvarez is on the way out. So we need to capitalise. He would be the guy for me. But keep your questions coming. Really, really appreciate it. And an amazing result at Elland Road. 4-0 to the Arsenal, which means we've beaten them over 2 legs 9-0. 5-0 obviously in the first leg, 4 in the second leg. So Stevie, Matt and Collie, you're eating humble pie, which is brilliant because they came very, very, intensely at me after we lost to Man United, forgetting that actually the next game that we had was against Leeds. But that's what happens. It comes around. But yeah, really, really good performance. And lastly, I hope you all have a good day, Gooners.